So, yeah, welcome first, Lindsay. And I would love if you can introduce yourself first. Just let me know who are you and since when you're on your journey of personal development, stepping into your own power and being guided by your higher self.
Yes. Hi, my name is Lindsey Marie Barber, and I am here to experience love and light and share the gift of freedom with others, the freedom that comes from self-awareness and acceptance and surrender and tapping into the divine forces of the universe that are love and letting go of the illusions of fear and self-pity. And I guess that's really what brought me to the work was all of the fear and self-pity and feeling like I'm not enough, and really seeking outside of myself, whether it was getting good grades in school or getting the attention of people, or even going to the darker side of things too, just seeking. I was always seeking, how can I find my place in the world? And then about 6 years ago, or 7 years ago now, I can't remember, I was working at a bilingual British international school. I was studying to be an elementary school teacher, and I had these realizations that I didn't really want to be an elementary school teacher, and that it was really hard for me. And it wasn't that I didn't want to do it because it was hard. It was because I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. I was having my 30 life crisis. I was 29. And I met this person in Lima, in Peru, this man who introduced me to this type of meditation. It's a Buddhist meditation, and it was my first experience of guided meditation with visualization. It's the Diamond Way Buddhism, so it's a lot of focusing on mantras and light emanating out of the chakras and seeing colors. And up until then, I had this extreme awareness of my workaholism and my playaholism too. It was like they were both just got to do it all right now, like we have to do it right now type of like scarcity mindset. And so and I knew that I was getting to a place where I couldn't really tolerate that anymore, especially emotionally. And I was atheist, agnostic, really didn't believe in anything aside from my own self-power. And I didn't really trust anyone else or myself either. So it was like a very isolated. The only thing I could trust was getting approval or like acknowledgement in these little ways that I knew that I could get it. And so when I had first approached meditation, it had been Zen meditation, and I couldn't handle it because my thoughts were so all over the place and intense that I couldn't find a center. So this guided meditation really helped me find that center. And then fast forward to a year later, I decided not to be an elementary school teacher, and I started learning other ways to meditate. And I developed a form of movement meditation that I created for myself. And then I started teaching it, and it was a form of dance meditation. And through that practice, I was then able to call in from the universe a seated practice. And I have a living guru. His name is Yogiraj Satguranath Siddha. And so I've been practicing a seated practice now for 1 to 2 hours for the last 4 years. And then with all of the work of everything else that I've learned, the meditations that I lead now are guided visualizations that I literally channel in the moment. So and I have this trust and faith in myself and the universe to deliver it, especially in groups of people. I have done recorded meditations too, but those embodiment meditations, I call them, are the most powerful for me and for my students. I just completed a 7-week course called Master Your Thoughts, practicing a sequence.
Yeah.
Did you have a question for me?
No, I just said beautiful. Sounds amazing.
Yeah. So the sequence is, and I developed it based on my experiences in transformation. So I also went through a transformational leadership program, which really showed me concretely from a more intellectual analysis perspective how my thoughts create my reality and my beliefs create my reality. And how I also may have thoughts that I'm not even aware of, all my unconscious thoughts that create the results in my life that I may not want. So becoming aware of that, once you tap into meditation, those thoughts start to bubble up to the surface, and when you interact with other people who are doing similar things in spirituality and growth and development, then those things, you start to support each other in becoming aware through feedback of the things that no longer serve you, the old beliefs. So the sequence that I developed based on that and all the meditation experience and everything is Master Your Thoughts. So it's an acronym, and it's mindfulness, acceptance, surrender, transformation, embodiment, which is where I've also brought in Joe Dispenza's heart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been so powerful this last week.
It is.
And then the last part is renewal. So it's the renewal, the R in the master, is committing to practicing these tools and techniques on a daily, moment-to-moment basis, and also being okay with it being really messy sometimes, and not giving in to the lies of fault and blame and anger and shame, because they're just misappropriated. Like they're like we chose to interpret things that way, and we might not realize that we have a choice because of our history and trauma and things that have come up in our lives. But I see that is another area where power really lies, is in uncovering, discovering, discarding those deep resentments and anger and fear, and learning to forgive yourself and others. So I'm just so grateful to be here with you, and I feel, as when I talk about all these things, I literally, because of the embodiment and the heart meditation, I can feel the ripples and the reverberations of the energy in what I'm saying through my body, and I know how powerful it is without a doubt, and how worthy everyone is of feeling this way. So thank you for letting me talk about everything in one long sequence.
It sounds so interesting. So I would love to link your website later. I'm sure you have a website and Facebook page, and I'm going to link it on the YouTube. So if we look at now at all the chaos that might surround us, what do you think is the most important thing right now for ourselves and also for the collective? If we think on our loved ones, our family, our friends, what can we do now at this now moment the best to stay centered and calm and in love?
I think compassion is the biggest, because when we come from a place of compassion, then we can accept other people where they're at. Because some people are in a lot of fear, and other people aren't really in any fear at all. And so whatever side of the spectrum you're on, or wherever you fall in between, like seeing that we are all one is really what I think COVID-19 is about. COVID-19 showed us that we're all connected. That we're all connected, and that the matrix, like the webs of fear and like seeking outside ourselves and not enoughness and all of this stuff is so interconnected. And I believe that that's what created the manifestation of this virus, was to show us how to be more loving and connected. I mean, I might not be talking to you if this hadn't have happened. There's so many people who I would not have met
Yes.
and who I'm so like incredibly, like I'm starting to tear up, like incredibly grateful, and to have these people in my life and to have deeper connections with other people. And so I think it's really important to, yes, stay safe and do what you feel is safe for you and your family, and respect other people in what they think is safe. Like, we don't need to convince other people to do things our way or try to manage and control. We just get to come with compassion and really show up from this place of gratitude and love, and seeing this whole thing as an opportunity, whether that's an opportunity in your business or an opportunity in a relationship or an opportunity to be more healthy in some ways, to work less, to take care of your body, to meditate. There's so many opportunities. So that's what I think is most important.
Many people
and also, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, and also to do things that you love, like during this time, to really find something that you love to do and give yourself that gift of enjoying yourself, because joy and laughter and all of those things are medicine, and they build your immune system. So that's what I was going to add. Thanks.
Absolutely. So if you think, many people think they have to give up some of their power now, because if they look in the external world, that's what's happening. They have to wear a mask in the supermarket, or they're fearing that some other rules or limitations might come up, and some limitations already came up. So right now everyone lives very isolated, and somehow they have to do things that they don't like to do. Maybe it doesn't resonate with them. So how can you go with that resistance? How can you let go of it? You feel it's not right to do, but how can you go with the feeling of resistance? And it is not right what is happening.
Well, resistance is a really interesting thing, because though it causes a lot of stress and chaos in the body, a lot of people are so used to it that they actually feel more safe being in this place of resisting something that they don't like.
Yes.
And when you surrender to it, that doesn't mean that you have to fully do, yes, wear the mask, follow the laws, but that doesn't mean that you have to live in fear. And that doesn't mean that you have to live in blaming society and other people, because when you're in fear and anger, even if you think like, oh, they're making me do all these things, I'm giving my power away, or I lost my job, it's you who's choosing to interpret what's happening in that way. And though most people, not most people, I don't want to generalize in that way, but some people do, a lot of people come from that place when things happen all of a sudden. They want to blame themselves or others. And that's what's giving your power away. So it's like this, I don't know if you've ever heard, there's some talks, actually Marianne Williamson talks about anger and angry people, and how when you're angry, though you're in resistance to something, and you think like, maybe you even think like, I'm going to take my power back by being angry, you're actually still giving your power. It's like you're almost worshiping the person who made you angry, because they are the one, or the society is like, you allowed them to put you in that state, right? So ask me your question again. I don't feel like I answered it.
So what can you do aside of getting angry? When there's a resistance, there's something that you don't like. Instead of getting angry, what can you do?
So instead of getting angry, well, first of all, if you are angry, I think it's important to write about it. Like, you don't need to be like, damn, I'm angry, I'm a horrible person. That doesn't work either. Like, you get to acknowledge your anger and be like, I really am angry about this, and this is why I'm angry. Maybe write about it. And then say, I think the most important question is like, am I willing to have a different experience? So do I really want to be angry right now? And if not, then what do I really want? Like what if if I could feel any way in this moment, what would the feeling be? Would it be joy? Would it be excitement? And then finding something that gives you that joy and excitement. And really, it only takes a little bit of willingness. You can use prayer and meditation also. If you're in, some people when they're angry find it hard to meditate though. So I often find it's just like really being okay with where I'm at, and seeing like, oh well, I could dance in my room for an hour, or I could go work out really hard. Like I could pretend to box the air. I could listen to my favorite song that sometimes when I'm angry, because I get angry sometimes, like all of us. It's a normal human emotion.
Yes, exactly.
When I get angry, I like to listen to a song, like an angry song, and I tell myself, okay, I'm going to get all my anger out, like by jumping around the room and listening to this like super angry song, and it's going to be the container for my anger. So I'm going to let it all out, and then afterwards I'm going to see if I can choose a different feeling. So there's so many ways. There's so many things. You could have a pillow fight.
Yes, and if you have someone, you just pillow fight, right? It's good to get the energy out.
Yeah, and when people are contained, they sometimes forget to exercise and get all the energy out. Like I have to run or hike or walk or do something for 30 minutes to an hour almost every day. If I don't do it like one day, then the next day I find myself like wanting to climb up the wall.
I'm the same. But if you think on the moment, you have any tip for someone? Because that's what you said. It takes a little bit longer. Yes, it's good to accept the anger in the present moment. But are there any quick methods just to connect to the heart immediately? Because if you connect to the heart, the anger will fade away slowly. And then you realize, okay, I can stay in my heart. I don't have to be angry. So let's say you are out. Many people are there, whatever. And then how can you connect to your heart? Let go.
I'll tell you my grocery store method for letting go of anger.
Yeah. Please.
So first of all, when I feel the anger rising, and I'm the type of person that if I get angry, I will sometimes say things to people, even people that I don't know, like I'll make, or my energy will be so intense that they'll say something to me.
Yeah.
So I stand with my feet on the ground. I feel my feet flat on the ground, and I feel the power and the energy in my feet. And I take a big inhale from below the earth, like from down or below whatever, the linoleum, whatever I'm standing on. I see my breath coming up from the earth on the inhale, and I breathe so deeply as long as I can, and see my breath expanding out the top of my head.
Yeah.
And as it expands, I hold for just like a few seconds, and then I exhale and release the breath. And as I release the breath, I see it washing over my body, like calming and releasing the anger. And then the same thing goes for putting your hand on your heart and breathing into your heart in the same way, drawing the breath into the heart on the inhale, on the exhale, releasing anger. And literally I try to tap into pleasure and bliss, like the feeling of being in love when I'm in those places. And it can be hard sometimes, but if I just keep, breathing that way is so good for your body. So and eventually I shift. But the one with my feet,
it sounds great.
Body,
very powerful.
That really releases the anger for me. And sometimes I have to do it multiple times, and sometimes I'm walking or talking to someone else, and I have to do, I get to do it so that I don't snap at them or throw my negative energy at them.
That's beautiful. I will try that next time. Sounds amazing. So, and then how to step now at your own power, in your own power at this time? How can you reconnect to, because you have infinity power that you gave up because we all were not aware of it. But since the time when you realize I have power over my own life, over all my experience that's happening to me, how can you take that back? And every day make the choice to be in your own power.
Well, first of all, I don't think you have to take it back because you always have it.
Yeah.
You just forget that you have it. Yeah. And so remembering that power isn't control. Mm-hmm. We might think that it's control based on like political systems and but power really is love. It's divine love. And power is recognizing that for me, that I am connected to this greater power that wants that is like the equalizer of love, and that if I can just be willing to say like, hey, God or universe or goddess, whatever you want to call it, help me find my center, help me find my power. And that power is also not, I'm pointing out like it's outside of me, but that power is also in your mind and in your heart, in your body. It's your soul. And your soul is, what was I going to say? So first of all, sensing into that power, that no matter how powerless you might appear to the external world, whether you're broke, you're homeless, you don't have a job, you lost your partner, someone in your family died, no matter how powerless we are over those things happening in our lives, we are powerful in that we are divine beings. And when we remember that, the physical stuff doesn't affect us as much, and we're able to find that center and power in a deeper way that's more sustainable, because I believe that my safety, security, my power, my love all come from inside of me, and I may attract other people into my life who are loving and powerful, and we are merely doing a dance, like connecting with each other. I don't get my love and my power from any other person, place, or thing, like any job, or even though it might seem like it and it might feel like it at times, because I am a physical being also. When I remember divine truth, then I find my power.
And then if we look deeper into it, what is a good way to connect? Before you said you can say prayer to connect to your higher self. So you can get guidance from your higher self through prayer. But you have any other methods that are working well for you? Aside from praying and setting maybe intentions.
Well, I like telling myself stories that may not have happened yet. But they're stories like, because we all tell ourselves, because we're human and we have this survival brain, we all tell ourselves that like, oh my God, this is how much money I have in my bank account. I need to pay rent tomorrow. Or like, oh my God, I hope this guy likes me. Or can I do to make him like me? Or like things like that. Or this job, I really need this job. This job is like, I've been working towards this career my whole life. Scarcity thoughts, right?
Yeah.
And those are just a few examples. There are so many. Thoughts could also be like, I'm tired today. Like, why, or I'm in a bad mood today. They could be more simple like that. So instead of telling ourselves those, instead of living and allowing those thoughts and stories to like spin around and around in our head, even in the background when we're doing other things and we're not fully aware of them, I consciously start telling myself stories. And the most basic one is I have plenty of time. They're like affirmations.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I have plenty of time, plenty of money, and plenty of love. Things are always working out for me. Everything happens for me. Everything is an opportunity. Those are like the simple ones. And then when I get more deep into the work that I do with guided visualization and coaching other people, it's literally looking at the webs of thought that have led us to where we're at right now, almost like neural networks in the brain, and seeing the patterns, and then reshaping those stories. So an example would be like so many examples, but like I'm let's say for a relationship. So I'm not like, these are some beliefs that women might have in a relationship. And like, men only really want sex. And then you flip that and you say, well, if I'm thinking that about other people, then maybe I'm thinking about that about myself too. Maybe that's all that I think I'm worthy of. And then if that's all that I think that I'm worthy of, then, oh, that's why I'm creating it outside of me. That's why I'm creating it outside of me. And then what's underneath that? Oh, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe I don't think anyone will ever love me. Maybe this goes back to my past history, and then shifting that whole story. So healing the story, the early childhood story of whatever trauma occurred that led to those not enough beliefs. And then telling yourself this story, like actually telling yourself a story of the most amazing romantic relationship you've ever had in your life, and how worthy you are, and having this experience not only in the mind of telling the story, but in the body of being with a partner that loves and respects you for who you are, that wants to be committed to you, and what that feels like, and even like literally experiencing them there with you when there's no one there.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe you don't even have anyone in your life yet either. And then also detaching from the results, which is huge, because a lot of people who do visualization, they'll have this whole idea of what their ideal partners should look like, or be like. And then they meet, and then they're like, no. And so being open to the universe delivering something that's way different than what you expected, but the feelings are there. So feelings are usually the feelings and the thoughts, and maintaining those, even in the tough times. Like, even if you broke up, even if you were with someone and you thought they were the one and they broke up with you, still being in that place of possibility and love, like, because the love has to, like, if someone breaks up with you and you feel so hopeless that you want to die, then that means that there was some disconnect between you and your own sense of love.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
And that can go for money. That the same thing for money. Like, even if you're broke and you don't know how you're going to pay the rent the next day. I can't remember her name right now. But she has this whole story of going from no money at all, having kids, and living on the street, to being super successful. She actually teaches guided visualization.
Really?
And it was all because she visualized the career and the money and lived every moment like she had it already. So, and that, when we don't act out of fear. So if I'm like at the store or whatever, and I'm like, oh my God, there's no toilet paper, I need all the toilet paper. Like that. Or the same thing with the job. I don't know if you've ever been in a job interview and you're like, I need this job so bad. Like, and then the people are like, well, I think you're not the right fit. Literally, because you're coming from a place of lack instead of a place of wholeness. And I will stop there.
Yes. No, thank you. That's nice. I like that. So when we look at now and our external world, everything changed. So what's the best thing to do? Is it better to step into your own power, to use visualization and going inwards to change our external world? Or is it better? What resonates better for you? Is it also good to step into action and to be more present outside? Because we already spoke about resistance. It's not good to resist what comes our way. So let's say I don't like this face mask, so I don't put it on, but then I have to. And there's a consequence, right? So what's your best advice for everyone on their spiritual journey right now? What can they do to create the world that we all want to live in? How can we create the heaven on earth for everyone?
I would say the answer is yes to both. So the guided visualization and the meditation brings us back to this place of homeostasis and our being. And it's from that place of being, which is love and power and responsibility, that we want to take action in the world. Yeah. So, and compassion or whatever you see the situation that you want to be an actor in, take part in. And I think some people are so used to being in action all of the time that they don't take care of their being as much. But then I know that there are other people who are naturally just very like servant style, heart space people, like a lot of nurses and doctors, and they just work for hours and hours for the rest of the world, and they feel nourished by doing that. And other people might need more time to be alone and to recenter themselves. And so I think it's really depends on the person. For me, prior to all the meditation and stuff that I've done, I'm still very action oriented. Like I have this habit of wanting to plan every minute of my day. Wow. So the spiritual recovery in that is to plan some parts of the day and then leave other parts open.
Yes, open, exactly.
Yeah. And that I've experienced more joy in that, so I keep doing that.
Thank you, Lindsey. That's all question that I had. And I thank you so much for sharing everything. I love it. It was really, really nice.